UFC 298 will be taking place in Anaheim, California. These are my picks. Okay, Marcos Rogerio de Lima versus Justin Tafa. These are two big old dudes. Both got multiple KOs and TKOs on their record. Marcos has decent grappling. He did mix in some takedowns versus Maurice Green and versus Waldes Acosta. And Tafa has not really been tested with grappling. He's also been fighting stand-up guys, but he's got big KO power. Marcos got chinned badly with the flying knee versus Derek Lewis. So I'm trusting Jonathan Tafa to land a big shot in round one KO. Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. This goes two ways. Lemos knocking Dern the hell out, or Mackenzie submitting Lemos, because Mackenzie got hit a lot versus Jessica Andrade. Her head movement isn't all that. Lemos' takedown, she got ragdoll versus Zhang Weili. So I don't know. I was 50-50 on this, but in a striker versus grappler matchup, I typically lean towards the grappler, but the way Mackenzie's head was just in the middle, not moving at all, I'm trusting Lemos to find a shot in the second round and win by KO. Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. These guys are what you would call the dark horse of the division, unranked, but have the potential to be top 5, top 10 fighters. I think everyone knows Kopylov. Crisp head kicks, body kicks, striking solid. Hernandez, man, if you never watched this guy fight, he's the 185 Colby. If you saw his fight versus Edmund Shabazian versus Rodolfo Vieira versus Josh Friends, Marc-Andre Barrio, he just melts people. He just moves forward, shoots a million takedowns. It's not like Merab level, but that's how I would compare it to. And it's interesting because early on in his career, Kopylov got submitted by Carl Roberson, who's not even in the UFC, but Anthony Hernandez got KO'd, to be fair, when he was younger. Both these guys were younger when they lost. And Hernandez got knocked out by Kevin Holland. Man, the problem is both of you guys haven't fought top-tier talent yet, so this is going to cancel out. I'm trusting the pace and grappling of Anthony Hernandez to win by decision. Dvalishvili versus Henry Triple Champ Cejudo. Okay, this comes down to one thing. Can Henry Cejudo stop the incredible EPO pace of Merab? Because it's all about the pace. Merab doesn't really hold people down a lot. He took Jan down like 30 times, didn't hold him down, didn't ground and pound him, didn't submit him. So I believe Henry can stop some takedowns. But the thing is, he got taken down by Aljo because he was bigger. He had some moments. He landed some good shots on the feet. And on the strictly striking, I'm trusting Henry. But I don't know, man. I just don't see him landing a big one down the middle and then KOing Merab. He's also 37, a freaking bantamweight. He looked a little slower versus Aljo, looked a little too tentative. I'm just going to trust Merab to outpace him, outwork him, hold him against the fence a little bit. Maybe Henry can take the first round. I'm thinking Merab by decision. The feature fight, Geoff Neal versus Ian Garry. Ian Garry coming off a domination of Neil Magny. Geoff Neal coming off a loss for Shavkat, where he did it himself well. The way this fight will be won is if Geoff Neal can get into the pocket and land a big hook, or if Ian Garry can keep it at range, keep him away by decision. Because Neal has great technique and he's got KO power. If you watch his fights for Shavkat, he made him go with the war with him, landing great hooks. Luque, man, he dominated and landed like 50 uppercuts that fight. And Ian Garry has been dropped by Sankanon, and I believe he got hurt pretty bad versus Jordan Williams, but man, Ian Garry has just looked incredible throughout his career, man. He destroyed Magny's legs. He did the same thing to Geoff Neal. He had a great head kick versus Daniel Rodriguez. And his hands were just, if you saw the finishing sequence versus Sam Kanan, his hands were incredible, his hand speed. And again, this was a little bit earlier in his career, but Geoff Neal got 50-45 by Wonderboy keeping on the feet, keeping away with kicks, landing body kicks. So I'm trusting Ian Garry to win, keep the range, keep him away, 30-27. To the co-main event, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. I know Robert Whittaker is coming off a KO loss versus Dricus, and some people on these polls, 20% are picking Costa. I don't see how the frick he's going to win, man. We're talking about Robert Whittaker, one of the greatest middleweights of all time, and Paulo Costa, the guy who made it close with the corpse of Luke Rockhold. Yeah, you could say it's elevation, but that's why he didn't look good. Luke Rockhold looked like he was going to pass out and die, and Paulo Costa was getting hit with good shots, getting hit with good body kicks. And yeah, he took him down, but he couldn't finish him. And what, is he going to take on Robert Whittaker? No. And versus Marvin Vettori, where he missed weight, he got just completely outstruck. He did land some good head kicks and stuff, but man, I don't think he's going to do this to freaking Robert Whittaker, man, because you could say, oh, Robert Whittaker has a sus chin, which he does. He's been dropped and KO'd quite a decent amount. But Paulo Costa, I know he's a big dude with big muscles. He doesn't have one-shot knockout power. He's not some Francis Ngannou, Anthony Rumble Johnson type, bro. Like, if you look at his finishing sequences versus guys like Uriah Hall, Johnny Hendricks, he lands like 20 punches. And he lands a lot to the body, which I'm not taking away from. It's great. It breaks the guys and leads to getting finished. But people act like he's if he lands one on the chin, boom, he's out. No, he's literally no. That's not what happens. So what I think is Paulo Costa is going to slow down because he's pulled out in fucking 50 fights, and Robert Whittaker is just going to pick him apart, take him to school like he did versus Marvin Vettori, win by 30-27. The featherweight championship, Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. Is there going to be a new era, or does the old guard stay? And man, the odds are stacked against Volkanovski. He's 35. If you saw the statistic, most champs when they reach 35, they lose. And he got KO'd really badly 4 months ago. Ilia's got one-shot KO power. He's got great technical striking versus Josh Emmett. And, man, if he gets close into the pocket, Volk might get his lights shut out. But, man, I don't know, bro. Volkanovski, bro, we're talking about one of the greatest fighters of all time, man. He can make this a clean and technical fight. He doesn't have to go to war with them. And if this people I think are underestimating this. Ilia got taken down by Bryce Mitchell and got pulled down for a little bit. Like, Bryce didn't land anything good ground and pound or any real submission attempts, but maybe Volkanovski can mix it up. And come on, we're talking about a guy who's been a champ for the last freaking 4 or 5 years. In the 4th and 5th rounds, which if he makes it, he's just going to dominate. And I trust Volkanovski. He's not some like super duper elite defensive striker, but I think he can avoid the big power shots, man. And the legs, another thing is Ilia Topuria has a very bladed stance, so Volkanovski could chop the frick out of his legs. And I think this is what I think. Volkanovski is going to either drop the first and second or the second and third because Ilia is going to land some big power bombs. But I just think Volkanovski is going to rally in the 4th and 5th where Ilia is not used to being the nail. And Volkanovski is just going to dominate the 4th and 5th, take the first round or second round, win by 48-47. All my picks for UFC 298. If you agree or disagree with any of them, let me know down below. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.